In the spring of 1970, a large boulder was heaved through my bedroom window in the president's home. It was not an unusual thing to happen on college campuses, but it was a very unusual thing to happen on the Anderson University campus. It was a time of great tension because some of our colleges all across the country had been closed by student uprising against the war in Vietnam, which had gone absolutely sour. It had brought the president down, and the new president who took over the country, President Nixon, had promised that he would get us out of this war. Instead, in the spring of 1970, we expanded the war by starting to bomb in Cambodia. That just was pouring oil on the flames of rebellion that there was on college campuses all over America. And these were very, very difficult times for me to be president of Anderson College. I knew that the students were very distressed about this war, but I was also determined that we were not going to let this campus result in utter confusion. After the bombing in Cambodia in the spring of 1970, I had a group of students come in the office, and they said, we would like to make a peaceful demonstration for peace. And I said, what have you got in mind? They said, well, what we would like to do is plant a tree of peace on the campus. I said, that sounds fine to me. When do you want to do it? Well, they said, we'd like to do it after chapel. I said, where do you want to put it? And they said, well, we'd like to put it over across the ravine in a place that will be seen by most students as they walk by. And I said, well, that sounds fine to me. Let's do it. And so after chapel, a large portion of the faculty, a large group, circled that area. By that time, there was a big hole in the ground. There was a tree with a big ball of dirt at the base. There was a shovel there, and it was very obviously time to plant this tree. Well, as we gathered around, there was a prayer, there was a song about peace, there were a few students that spoke. It was really a very, very important and genuinely meaningful time for the students to be there and express how they felt about the war and what they were hoping would happen. It was a wonderful, peaceful demonstration. And so, at a given time, they went ahead to plant the tree, rolled it over, dropped it into the hole that was there, and then something very, very meaningful happened. No one picked up the shovel, but the dirt was all moved by hand with students on their knees and patted down around that tree until it was really planted well. And then we had a prayer and dismissed. In a time of real distress that spread across America in campus rebellions, I always felt that it was a very meaningful and a very beautiful thing for the Anderson College campus to come together in an act of peace, expressing their own hope that the war would soon end and that peace again would come to this land and to our campuses. It was a moment that I shall never forget. I look around behind me, and at the place where that beautiful tree was planted, I don't see a tree there anymore. They tell me that during a windstorm, many of the limbs were broken and the tree died. Maybe it is a time for the students at Anderson University to plant another tree of peace there. It would be a wonderful thing to do.